Hello everyone, this is Sankalp
And this is Gaurang.
and you're listening to our podcast, The Unwritten Case. Gaurang, do you want to tell our audience about what this podcast is about?
Yeah, sure, Sankalp. So, The Unwritten Case is a podcast that me and Sankalp designed together. We're essentially trying to learn a lot more about the HBS community around us. I think this is a very vibrant place, and a lot of us come from different backgrounds together. And something that really has not happened enough is, learning a lot more about each other's backgrounds, where we come from, what has brought us to where we are today. And I think this podcast is an ode to the community and understanding what has made us where we are and who we are.
What inspired you to I think start this podcast?
Yeah, I think just going a little bit back when I was interviewing for HBS, the interviewer actually asked me a question that was very interesting. She said, "Who do you envision yourself sitting next to in the classroom?" And my response to that was someone new every day, because I want to learn about the community. I want to learn about the people next to me. I think, anyone that gets into HBS, they have a really vibrant background, done a lot to get where they are today. And I think I want to learn about that. Unfortunately, like HBS, the RC year, and you'll uncover this in future episodes. I mean, it's a very tough RC year. Like, you have a lot to juggle around, and I think it's like some things just get hit in the process. I don't think I know more than a third of the community, if that. And so I think this is a way for me to really get to know more people, but also kind of share that experience with everyone else. I think not many of us have the time to actually sit down and have in-depth conversations with people, and so we're structuring to kind of have that recorded so that everyone can have access to that. I think what's great was Sankalp, me and you were in the Founders Mindset class. It's funny, like, Sankalp, I mean, how long have I known you now?
Dude, it feels like eternity, but to be honest, just I think more than a year.
I think like I met you, one of the first people that I met at HBS.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny, like how things panned out? Like, why don't you tell them about the Founders Mindset story and what happened? What inspired this?
Yes. I think just to take us one step back, I think even for me, when that question was asked to me about what excites you about HBS, I said the people. Like, people really inspired me a lot. I think, like, to bring me to where I am. And coming to this founders mindset, I think class, we had this I think this kind of an event where we had to interview each other, and so we both were interviewing each other, and I got to uncover such different parts of Gaurang's life which I just didn't know. Like, I felt that I know him completely, but there were few aspects of his life which I just had never uncovered. And I think that really surprised me and made me think about, like, I feel that I know my section a lot through my RC experience, but there's just so much more to uncover. And just think about, to Gaurang's point, that we just know probably a third of our class. There's so much more. There's so many other life stories, so many other experiences that have shaped people around us every day. And I think this is a way for me as well to learn about this community, but also like to make the community learn about each other as well and learn from each other.
Yeah, no, you have put it really well. And I think, it's very easy if you have a conversation with someone, just a coffee chat, another coffee chat on campus. There's still a lot of like time bound, there's agenda behind that. It's not just sitting down and talking to someone about who they are, what they are, how they've made it here. It's always a little bit agenda driven, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure that's the case with you.
For sure.
We don't take a step back and actually just try to learn who a person is.
Yeah.
What is their life story? What has made them who they are? I think that's what I'm really trying to uncover here, because the primary agenda of this podcast is just to learn about a person.
Yeah.
And when you keep it at that, you can uncover so much more. 30 to 45 minutes just purely about the person, just about our guest, our protagonist.
Yes, our protagonist for this case.
I think, like, moving forward, we're going to have some very great guests. Our first episode is actually already recorded, and we're going to uncover a little bit more.
I'm very excited about for all of you to hear that.
Yeah.
And if I can just add one more layer to what you said, I think learning a lot from the people that we hear from, but also, don't you think we learn a lot about ourselves as well when we hear someone whom we relate to.
Well, that's true. I think sometimes, when you're thinking about the question that has been
Yeah.
asked and how to respond to it, you're really trying to think about what has shaped you,
Yes.
right? And sometimes there's not enough time that's put into reflecting back on what
Yeah.
has got you here. And you're right, like even when you were interviewing me for the class, which we're probably going to do again
Yeah.
for the podcast sometime in the future, but there's so much that I learned about my family, myself, what has been the motivating factors behind who I am and what I'm doing here.
Yes.
I think it's a great way to do that. And outside of this podcast, I would really urge you guys as well to perhaps just take one or two people that you're really curious about and just go sit with them, have coffee with them, and no agenda, just learn about them. That will uncover a lot about you, and maybe do the same. Have them ask you about your life, and I think that's just going to come naturally.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But
So,
well, we both are excited for you all to listen to the protagonists of this podcast. That will one by one will uncover their life stories. So stay tuned.
yeah, I'm excited. It's a long journey ahead, but only 898 more to go. Yeah.
One by one.
One by one, we'll get there. And that's us signing off. Welcome to the Unwritten Case, and see you in the next episode.